This holiday, would you rather buy this TV or get one for free? For a limited time only, bring home a free 43-inch Samsung Smart TV when you sign up on Link with DTV Plus today. Just imagine your favorite movies, shows, and more, all in stunning quality on your brand new screen. Visit DocomoPacific.com or see us in store to learn more. Docomo Pacific, better together.
Kandit News is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Good evening. It is 9:17 p.m. on Friday, January 3, 2025. My name is Troy Torres, and yes, I am in pajamas because it is late at night. This is very late for me. I last year probably would not have gone live this late. I probably would have saved it for tomorrow morning. But this year we managed to get ourselves some advertisers, and so not only do I have an obligation to you, our viewers, I now have a fiduciary obligation to our advertisers to go live actually more often. And so here I am working my butt off on a Friday night, and I'm not complaining because this is 44-year-old me. Hi, Sister Janet. This is 44-year-old me, and you can see the wrinkles, and my hair is I'm starting to have some hair loss and whatever, right? The me of like 20 years ago, the me of 10 years ago, would have been taking a nap right now so that in 2 hours I can go out for a night on the town. But let me tell you, after all of those painful antibiotic gonorrhea injections that I had to get, and every single episode of my chlamydia and whatever STD, and all the bad decisions that I made that led to dire consequences throughout my life, I am happy, content, joyful that here I am, close to 9:30 in the evening on a Friday night, and though I'm not in bed yet, I get to spend this time with you and not out doing something stupid. And of course, only in my 40s, do I hear the voice of my dead father ringing in my ear, all the things that he tried to tell me when I was young, and I didn't listen to him because I was too smart, and I just knew better. And I'm so stupid. Hi, Teresa. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. So one of our advertisers is Wendy's, right? And one of the promotion pitches that I sent to them was that one of them was that beach scene that I put out. I think it was Thursday morning. I put it out. So the next one is going to be me in my pajamas at night with my glass of wine, eating a taco salad, and I'm glad that they have me promoting like all their food because, as you know, I'm kind of a fat boy. I struggle with fat, and I've struggled with fat all of my life. But I'm more happy with Wendy's that what they want me to promote is a salad. So like everything there tastes good, right? But I mean, sometimes I just need the healthy choice because, well, I'm me. This taco salad, you can get it with chicken or you can get it with chili. I say go big or go home, so I get it with chili. So it's this entire cup of chili that you put on with this sauce. So they've had a taco salad before. This is a new one that they have, and it's delicious. It's delicious, and I'm very happy to Wendy's. I'm happy to all of our advertisers, especially our food advertisers, because it gives me the excuse to just chow on down. Look at my fat cheeks. I love you, Renee Lynn, who says, Troy, you don't look a day over 29. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good evening, Joshua Salas. Good evening, Nate Horn, my friend, who says, going to bed early on a Friday night used to be punishment. Now it's a reward. For real. Look at my eyes. I'm not even on my nighttime gummies right now. This is just me being tired. And to be completely honest with you, earlier today, I completed the written editorial that you see in you see it in the Facebook post. I'll post it to Instagram. This is another thing that I'll be doing with Kandit is everything I put on Facebook, I'll also be populating onto Instagram, and all the video stuff I'll be populating onto YouTube as well. I'm going to ask Eric Rosario to help me figure out the technology of live casting to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm not the brains behind any of that stuff. But earlier today, I did finish the written editorial, and I have been meaning to go live about this for a while. But then that norovirus, well, I got lazy. And also, I went to the gym. And then when I was at the gym, Public Health put out that norovirus advisory. And I was today years old when I found out that stomach flu is norovirus. So if you want to see the news on that and take some precautions and stuff, especially if you have symptoms like diarrhea, headache, nausea, there's apparently several outbreaks throughout the United States of norovirus, and so Public Health put out that advisory. So anyway, what I'm going to say here and what I wrote in the editorial may upset some of you who don't like Attorney General Doug Moylan, some of you who do like Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, but my job is not to appease any of you. My job isn't even to appease me. My job is just to tell it like it is. And when Governor Lou Leon Guerrero submitted 4 questions to the Guam Supreme Court for declaratory judgment, which means for the court to settle a matter of law, to interpret law. Hi, Gina. I love you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I really didn't care about those questions about, can he disqualify himself from the civil cases or whatever. And really that whole debacle that happened between the governor and the AG, I thought was quite a nuisance. I thought that those two should have handled that a whole lot better and not jeopardize so many grants and other urgent matters that required both of them to sort of team up for the betterment of the government. What did take me back was the governor's question about whether the Attorney General can both represent the government agencies and at the same time prosecute public officials within those agencies for corruption. Because the case that she was making was clear. She wanted to disqualify the Attorney General from prosecuting corruption. And I thought, the freaking gall. After all of the audits, the financial and the desk audits that the public auditor has released, not just since the Leon Guerrero administration, but going back to the Calvo administration, these audits that have provided evidence of criminal wrongdoing, criminal conduct, corruption within the government in several different agencies. And after the Attorney General had announced that he was investigating the majority of the line agencies, including the governor's office, the governor pulled this stunt. And I thought, geez, man, can you be any more obvious? Can you be any more obvious? This was like, when I was a little girl and my older brother and sister would come over for the weekend to visit. And I'd be so excited. I think I told this story before that, I wanted to play because I was, if it were not for seeing my older brother and sister over the weekend, I would have been raised as an only child, at least until that little hairball came 11 years after my birth, called my little brother, and took that throne away from me. So whenever my brother would come around, I had a brother. And so I always wanted to play catch with those. Remember those balls at that they sold at Townhouse? They had them in the big rack, and they were the air-filled rubber balls. And people love to just punt them up and down in the middle of Townhouse, especially if you were a naughty kid like me. Anyway, so it was always that ball or like a dodgeball or something. And we would, in my room, we would be playing ball. My brother would get so annoyed because my dad would force him to play ball. He would be nice at first, and then he would just slam the ball straight into my face. And it never failed. I would fall off the bed. I'd fall back and fall off the bed. And of course, I'd start crying. And my brother, he would swoop me up, mouth first, to prevent the noise from my crying and my yelling from reaching my dad, who was, by the way, we were the oldest children. So he was meanest to us. Like when my younger siblings came along, he was like this totally different person. We were like, Satan, where did you go? And so my brother was terrified that my dad would find out that he heard me. And so he would silence me and he would say, shut up, shut up, shut up. Dad's going to hear you. Everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Don't get me in trouble. I'll punch your face. That's sort of like what Governor Lou Leon Guerrero tried to do with the Supreme Court. The Attorney General has been hot on her administration's tail for corruption. So has the public auditor in several different allegations and instances that you see in these audits. Now, I get it. That public health case and that regional transit case appears to be pretty frivolous, right? And I can understand how people in the administration might be a little like, we have to do whatever is possible to stop Attorney General Doug Moylan from going any further with his prosecutions of corruption, because he's just going to take so many of us to court and it's going to cost us so much money and we didn't do anything wrong. But here's the thing. There are audits, independent audits, that say otherwise. And my hope is that the Attorney General is going there. Like, there are investigations actually happening based on those audits, based on the evidence that BJ Cruz already has presented to the public, to the governor, to the Attorney General, to the media, so forth, and so on and so forth, right? So I get it, right? But the Attorney General is our only recourse for criminal justice against the corrupt, aside from the U.S. Attorney's Office. And even at that, the U.S. Attorney would only prosecute based on violations of federal law. What if there are some of these cases that where the public auditor has presented evidence where some of this stuff is just local law violations. So the U.S. Attorney wouldn't even get involved in something like that. So in some of these cases, our only recourse for criminal justice against the corrupt is the Attorney General. And our governor tried to take that away from us. I didn't see this as some sort of affront, some sort of oppression of Doug Moylan. I saw this as an affront to us, the people, because like it or not, we elected Doug Moylan to be the Attorney General. It doesn't even matter who the Attorney General is. If the next Attorney General is Peter Santos or Levin Camacho or Therese Terlahi or Tom Fisher, whoever, we the people who are so fed up with corruption need our Attorney General's hands free and need our Attorney General to prioritize the prosecution of corruption. And so, thank goodness, the Guam Supreme Court came back and said, yeah, absolutely, Doug Moylan can oversee the office that both represents government agencies in civil matters, and at the same time, another part of his office can prosecute public officials within those agencies for corruption. Nothing wrong with that, so long as the Attorney General observes certain rules that deal with professional conduct and conflicts of interest. Now, that's a whole other story. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other discussion on whether the AG's office is actually abiding by the Guam rules of professional conduct and instituting those separations within the office to make sure that that the work of representing the civil agencies is not compromised, and the prosecution of corrupt officials are not the cases are not prejudiced by so there's a whole thing, right, that the Supreme Court has explained. And yes, the AG can do these things so long as this and these other requirements are met. But the way the governor went into this was, no, he should be our lawyer for the civil side. And because he is our lawyer for the civil side, he should not be able to prosecute our public officials within those agencies, which was a load of crap. You know what I'm saying? So Peter Santos raises issues, right? And Pete, hi Glenda, hi Juanita. Pete So I'll read what Peter Santos says. Dougie needs to be audited. Dougie is corrupt, so to ask him to stop corruption is asking him to do something he can't do, but Dougie can't help himself. So I get what you're saying, Pete, and that is an argument to be made in a separate issue. It's not, I think that, Pete, you would agree with me in saying that it doesn't even matter who the Attorney General is. The government that we suspect and for which the public auditor has provided tons of evidence of the existence or the commitment of crimes against our people should not be trying to silence the chief legal officer, the only office that is able to prosecute corruption. There's something inherently wrong with that. Now, I have, I'll probably write an editorial about this as well. I have an optional solution. And that is, and I talked about this yesterday, that is that I think we should adopt the same type of statute that the CNMI has, and apparently several other states have, where in the CNMI, it isn't just the Attorney General who is able to prosecute corruption or bring charges against corrupt people, corrupt officials. Their Office of Public Auditor also is able to do that. I think that we should, our legislature, our new legislature should empower the Office of Public Accountability to bring corruption charges against officials here in Guam. I think that that just gives us, the people, another avenue for our concerns to be noticed and for something to be done about our concerns. Because I don't know where Attorney General Doug Moylan and his office are in the prosecution of corruption. There was the GRTA case and the public health case. Both cases seemed on their face, and as we came to understand more of the details of it, seemed to be frivolous, seemed to be predicated on kind of nonsense. And someone who is familiar with the legal system told me that, you get these easier cases done so that you can build some kind of narrative, or you build some kind of case for the bigger cases. It's sort of like you're trying it, or you're testing the waters with the court and with the jury pool in how things will be accepted. And I have no idea whether that's true, and I'm not a lawyer. All I know is that I'm a citizen, just like you, who is tired of corruption, who sees it happening. I mean, where are we with the Pacific Star Hotel case? Where are we with the illegal use of the 911 funds all those years ago? Where are we with the DOE federal funds thing? Where are we with the Guam Homeland Security Office of Civil Defense thing? Where are we with those audits that were damning against GMH and DOE? I mean, there is just so much that has happened over the past few years. And the sad thing is that as the economy has tanked, it has meant that media companies, because it ain't just us, we're lucky to have grown in advertisement over the past few years. We're just so blessed that way. But the other news organizations are not as blessed. They're losing advertisers. Their newsrooms have shrunk. They don't have as many reporters and editors and all that stuff, right? So that they can produce news. They are struggling on a daily basis to get out the daily news, much less to be able to do the investigative reporting necessary to hold people to account, to hold government officials to account. That's why you don't see the stories that you used to see before, when the PDN had a full newsroom or KOAM had a full newsroom, where every single quarter these newsrooms were looking at the travel documents and reporting how much in travel was being done by the administration or by senators, or a monthly look at the staffing patterns to see how much the government of Guam was growing, or who was getting pay raises that shouldn't have gotten pay raises, or what was being kept in the secret from the people of Guam in terms of the use of money. You don't see that kind of reporting anymore because there aren't as many advertisers to fund the newsrooms. And so what has happened over the past several years, this has been sort of like a perfect storm for the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration to kind of get away with it. And not just them, but also senators to get away with their barbaries. Look, we had Telo Taitigui, the most traveled senator in the 37th Guam legislature, a member of the minority, didn't have any responsibilities in the legislature aside from just being a senator. She was the most traveled senator and nary a peep about it. You had a process server in a court of law attesting under penalty of perjury that Senator Telo Taitigui assaulted him at the Guam legislature. Nothing happened. You had an audit done by this public auditor years ago, back in 2019, I think it was, showing that Senator Joanne Brown took 11 illegal pay raises. Nothing done about it. No one in the law, in the criminal justice community, did anything about it. Hardly anything said in the media. No investigative reporting done about it, except for us. So you've had this sort of perfect storm over the years of, us, the people, and our concerns losing to the darkness, the dark-filled rooms where silence wins, where these officials are able to get away with it. No one's talking about it. No one knows about it. No one's doing anything about it. And so that was the hope when Doug Moylan came to office. That hope's a little waning in terms of the compassion, in terms of the corruption angle, because the only two corruption cases ended in nothing. And we're all waiting for, what's the next case? Is there going to be a next case? And you would have to assume that this question for declaratory judgment that the governor threw out perhaps was a distraction from the Attorney General's office's work against corruption. But now that the Supreme Court has resolved this issue, perhaps the distraction is over and they're able to go full throttle again. I'm just guessing because the Attorney General, aside from saying that more than half of the line agencies, some autonomous agencies, and the governor's office are under investigation for corruption. Aside from that statement made prior to this request for declaratory judgment, we don't have any indication that there are criminal prosecutions underway for corruption or anything related to those audits over the years that the public auditor has put out. So we can only hope. And furthermore, we can only hope that if and when the next corruption case comes out, that it's stellar. That it's not like the public health case, not like the GRTA case. But as a fundamental thing, the fact that our governor tried to silence and to hogtie our only legal recourse to the deterrence of corruption through the criminal justice system speaks volumes about this administration and what it's been up to. And, I suppose that if I were the governor and my lieutenant governor was under federal investigation for corruption, I'd want everyone to shut up too. But for Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. Good night and God bless you all.